Recording in progress.
Isn't that my mic right there? Oh.
Council Murphy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
All right, great, thank you.
Carolyn,
Thank
your
you.
mic's on now. Want to test it?
Testing, yep.
Good? You hear us, Council Murphy?
Yes, yes, I do.
All right, I show 7:01, and looks like we have who's missing?
Barbara.
Oh, that's right. It's been one of those days. Not used to having her face me this way. All right, we're all here. Yep. Council, come to order. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans, our servicemen and servicewomen, and for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Any other moment of silence? Okay. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Councilor Linehan. Councilor McDonald. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Seega. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora.
Here.
Councilor Winslow. Council President Murphy.
Yes, here.
The record reflect that Councilor President Murphy is joining us via Zoom tonight, so Councilor at Large Craig Spatafora will be running the meeting, and all votes will be by roll call.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and for those who are now aware that Council Murphy is remote, so that means we have to do the roll call. So myself and the clerk, we are hoping to gather some of these. We do not have the rules changed yet to do it in a more efficient manner, but for example, the first one, we have 3 papers going to be referred to, hopefully referred. I don't want to assume, to personnel and appointments, and we're hoping to group them together and make one roll call to make it much more efficient. If there's any objections, please let me know now. All right, seeing none and hearing none, we're going to do that. We're going to group them as much as possible. If somebody would like them to come out, Council O'Malley's not here. Oh, there he is, I'm sorry. I'm used to being in that seat. If anybody wants to see something to come out, just let me know and we'll take it out of that process. Thank you. Clerk, first order of business. Yes. Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those in attendance, please be informed that UMA Urban Media Arts will be recording this evening's event. It is also live on Zoom, so just be aware there'll be audio and video recording for this meeting. I don't see anybody in the audience recording this, so first order of business.
Approval of minutes, papers 248-23, minutes for the meeting of June 6, 2023, and 249-23, minutes for the meeting of June 13, 2023.
Okay, on Council Winslow's motion to approve the minutes of June 6th and June 13th, seconded by Councilor Crowe. All in favor? Oh, roll call. Got to do a roll call.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. This is for both meetings together. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. You want to make a motion? Hold on, Council, sorry. There you go.
Move to take the minutes from May 19th, 2/11/23 from the table.
On Councilor O'Malley's motion to take the minutes of 2/11/23, which if those recall, Councilor O'Malley wanted some time to read them. He has. Do I have a second on that motion? Second. Councilor Seega? Clerk will call the roll.
This is to take them off the table. Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley.
Yes.
Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Councilor Murphy.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Okay, minutes are after there. Councilor O'Malley makes a motion to approve the minutes of 220. Okay, Councilor Winslow, seconded. Clerk will call the roll. This is to approve the minutes of paper 21/23, which is May 9th minutes.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon.
Yes.
Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley.
Yes.
Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, meeting minutes have been approved.
Okay, so this is the first section I was talking about. I spoke to the chair, Councilor Linehan, so these are three appointments. So on Councilor, you want to read it?
I will read all
sorry.
three of them, yep.
We want to do this, we're going to do this in one vote. If anybody has objections, please let me know.
Paper 250-23, mayoral appointment, Lisa Kipnis Shwartz, 60 Harvard Street, Malden, as a resident member of the Council on Aging, said term to commence upon confirmation by the City Council and expire June 12, 2025. Paper 251-23, mayoral appointment, Diane LeBlanc, 26 Irving Street, Unit 303, Malden, as a resident member of the Council on Aging, said term to commence upon her confirmation by the City Council and to expire June 12, 2024. Paper 252-23, mayoral appointment, Marianne McGuirk, 59 Wyllis Avenue, Malden, as a resident member of the Council on Aging, said term to commence upon her confirmation by the City Council to expire June 12, 2026.
On Councilor Linehan for the paper. Councilor Linehan, give me 1 second, learning my screen. Councilor Linehan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So these are three new positions for a new Council on Aging that's being formed. So my motion would be to refer all three of these to personnel for us to interview next week, with the goal of having these also docketed on the full council next week so that we can approve them and that this board can start to meet over the summer, which I know they're very eager to do. So I'd make a motion to refer.
Okay, any questions for Councilor Linehan? Seeing none and hearing none, do I have a second?
Oh, I think Councilor McDonald has his
Oh.
hand up. Oh, sorry. Thought you had a question.
Thank you, Councilor. So on Councilor Linehan's motion, seconded by Councilor McDonald, clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Alrighty. Papers are referred.
Councilor Linehan, you want to jump to the other paper, just so we're keeping everybody in order? So paper, we're going to jump ahead to page 6.
Oh, yep.
It's 191-23, the paper. It's a mayoral appointment. So just keeping with the same theme.
Yep, so the Personnel and Appointments Committee met earlier tonight with Kathleen Higgins, who goes by Kate. This would be an appointment to the Disability Commission to fill the unexpired term of the late Frank Sina, who passed away. We interviewed Kate earlier. We were all really, really impressed with her resume, and I think she'd be a huge asset to the Disability Commission. We were unanimous in recommending her favorably.
Thank you, Councilor Linehan, for being very efficient. So on Councilor Linehan's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor? Oh, clerk will call the roll. Committee report. Sorry, Councilor Linehan, we should have the committee report first.
To accept the committee report.
Seconded by Councilor McDonald. Well, he raised his hand first.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe. Yes. Counselor Linehan.
Yes.
Counselor McDonald. Yes. Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Counsel President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, so you've already heard from Counsel Linehan on Kathleen Higgins' appointment. Do I have a second to move forward on Counsel Simonelli's motion, on Linehan's motion for the appointment of Kathleen Higgins, seconded by Counsel Simonelli. Clerk will call the roll.
Paper 191, appointment, mayoral appointment of Kathleen Higgins, 34 Forest Street, to the Disability Commission, said term to commence upon confirmation by the City Council and to expire September 23rd, 2025. This appointment is to fulfill the unexpired term of Francina, who passed away. Counselor Cologne Hayes? Yes. Counselor Condon? Yes. Counselor Crowe? Yes. Counselor Linehan? Yes. Counselor McDonald? Yes. Counselor O'Malley? Yes. Counselor Seega? Yes. Counselor Simonelli? Yes. Counselor Spatafora?
Yes.
Counselor Winslow? Yes. Counsel President Murphy?
Yes.
Confirmation approved.
Okay, next order of business. I know you're going faster than you are,
That's
so
okay. We're
slow me
bouncing.
down.
And one last one for Council Linehan.
Yeah, I know, I didn't realize there was one on that page, so it's my fault. Yep, we're just gonna place a file up.
Yep, exactly.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
you wanna read it?
Yep. Paper 253-23, mayoral appointment, Elizabeth Salazar, 200 Mountain Avenue, apartment 62, Malden, as an alternate member to the Historical Commission, said term to expire June 13th, 2026, confirmation not required.
On Counsel Linehan's motion to place on file, seconded by Counselor Crowe. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe. Yes. Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald. Yes. Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Counsel President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, now we come to the Counselor McDonald portion of the agenda. I thought we had a discussion, Counselor, about your resolves, but apparently it hasn't sunk in yet. But they're very good, and I would like to be added to the paper probably as soon as you get done speaking. I'm sure everybody else would. So Counselor McDonald, you want to read the resolve first? Go ahead.
We're going to take them one at a time, even if we only take.
Yep.
Do you want to chunk the vote, but read them one at a time?
Can we chunk the votes if anybody's against it? So it's,
Do the first one separate.
okay.
And then the other two.
First one separate.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you. Paper 254-23.
Hold on, mic's off, Counsel. Clerk, there you go.
Resolved that it is the sense of the Malden City Council that they support and affirm the current plan and timeline of the Racial Equity Commission to engage a consultant, host town hall community meetings, analyze demographic data, review the past history of racial equity efforts in Malden, and make recommendations to advance racial equity in the city. The REC will plan to deliver its final report and recommendations to the City Council and the Mayor in the fall of 2024, no later than December 2024.
Counselor McDonald for the resolve. I got to turn your mic on. Sorry, Counselor. There you go.
Thank you. So this resolve comes from the Racial Equity Commission as their liaison. I've been going to their meetings. I've seen some of you else there, as some of my colleagues there as well. Council President Murphy was there for a while. Councilor Cologne Hayes has come to a number of meetings. And so just a little bit of backstory. The council created the Racial Equity Commission in December 2021 by resolve. The group was appointed in the spring of 2022, started meeting in May, I think, and only got in a handful of meetings before our DEI coordinator, Bibios La Rochelle, went out on leave in the position and ultimately did not return. So there was about a 6-month gap in their work where there was not a DEI coordinator. So at the beginning of this term, we did get them back started again with Maria Louise as the staff liaison, and Elena Martinez as our language access coordinator has also been to a number of meetings. Had some great meetings to scope out what work there is to do. We were really joined by Cambridge Health Alliance. Renee Camerata Hamilton came to a few meetings and with her colleague presented some amazing demographic and research data that they've been compiling. It's really excellent. I'll make sure everyone has a copy of that it's a great foundation. So the group has adopted a mission statement and talked through its timeline. We've now, I believe, posted the DEI coordinator position, so hopefully hiring will take place in the next few months So the group hopes to be on track to do the things it says in this resolve. I worked on this language with them. Host some community meetings in the fall. To hire a consultant, we do have some funding set, earmarked by OSPCD, Office of Strategic Planning and Community Development, to be able to pay for that consultant, to help shape the meetings, get good feedback, do some focus groups, and ultimately hone in on some recommendations, starting around this time next year, and then be able to bring those back to complete the charge. And they just wanted the council's affirmation, approval, since it's a little bit different from the original timeline, but they've got a game plan and just want your support and approval to move forward. So they asked that we bring it back here.
Okay, I'm going to ask any comments. Does anybody want to be, okay, Councilor Winslow.
All right, so so there is kind of a timeline?
That's right.
And has that consultant actually been hired, or is it just the funding in place?
Nope, at our next meeting next week, we'll be hopefully looking at a draft of an RFP that we'll then post and hope to have a consultant in place September, maybe.
So, and we're really talking about fall 2024, because I was thinking 2023, but we're
Nope,
actually.
fall 2024.
So plenty of time, and then, all right, and then just the final report would be coming by basically December 2024, so sometime early, that would be still fall, I guess. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Good work, and yeah, just, know it can be hard when we, things, staff goes and that type of thing about sports, so thanks for sticking to it and looking forward to the results in the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Winslow. Any other questions?
Council President.
Council.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you later, Councilor.
Councilor Murphy.
Oh,
Council
I'm sorry.
Bethborough.
I'm not used to being in this seat, so I'm looking around, not realizing you're in the front. So Councilor Murphy, I apologize. You can't.
It's okay. I just wanted to say I'd really like to be added as a sponsor to this. We I did, as Councilor McDonald say, attend some of the beginning meetings when it was in a little bit of a flux. It's a great team, great committed group of people who, are on this commission, and I think we need to give them the support that they need in order to do their job. So, Councilor O'Malley, Councilor McDonald, thank you so much for, putting this resolve forward to kind of bring us to the next level, because I know they did have a rough start and they really need to feel like the council is behind them. So, I guess I would say, Councilor Spatafora, maybe you could ask the group, is there anyone who doesn't want to be on this resolve? Because it's certainly something I think that's good for the city and needs to be done. So.
Thank you, Councilor. I was going to say, you are drunk with power, so stand down.
Okay. I think I'm larger than life from when I'm looking at the screen. I'm going, oh my God.
No, I was thinking the same thing. Does anybody not want to be added as a sponsor? Okay, let the record.
Oh, great, more the merrier.
Let the record reflect that all councils would like to be added as a sponsor to the resolve 254-23. We got to do a roll call, right?
We are, do we have a second on this resolve?
Do we have a second? I'm sure we do. On Councilor Carrie McDonald's motion to approve the resolve, seconded by Councilor Crowe. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald.
Yes.
Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor McDonald, you have the next, it's just the amount of ink that you put on this page. So you have the next two. Can we group them as one vote?
That would be fine with me if it's fine with you. I actually have a small amendment to the second one.
Is there more words, Councilor?
It's just a few more words.
Okay. So let's go through the first one first. I'll have the clerk read the first resolve.
The first resolve, paper 255-23 resolve, that it is the sense of the Malden City Council that the city must develop a plan to increase local revenue in the next 3 to 5 years to match projected future expenses. In addition to the regular annual inflation of city salaries and costs, currently projected expenses for the city include capital investments for schools and city facilities, road and sidewalk construction and maintenance, priority projects such as the Malden Riverworks project and the Cultural Arts Center, pension and pension benefit costs for city staff and retirees, and Malden's required contribution to the Northeast Metro Tech High School construction project. Additionally, increased required local contributions to education remain a significant liability under Massachusetts Chapter 70. Malden should evaluate all possible local income sources to develop clear targets and a plan to meet these needs. This plan should include strategic approach for using zoning and other tools to promote a sustainable rate of mixed-use development for growth in the commercial and residential tax base. It should also include investigation into new income sources at the local, state, and federal levels. The FY 2024 city budget is balanced with the use of one-time federal stimulus funds from the American Rescue Plan, ARPA, and cash reserves. To be fiscally responsible stewards of our city, we must act now to develop a sustainable approach which avoids painful cuts to city staff and services in the future.
Thank you. Councilor Karen McDonald for the people.
So this resolve and the next one comes straight out of our discussions in the Finance Committee, which have been a thread throughout the budget process this year. We'll talk a little bit about the budget later in this meeting, but the headline is really the last paragraph of this resolve, which is that we're balancing the budget with one-time sources of funding this year. And I think that that's appropriate, given that we are still feeling the effects of COVID and we're using some COVID resources from that. However, as folks who can influence we have the power to influence the future financial direction of the city, and we need to use that power to be sustainable, to be stewards for those resources and promote a sustainable approach for our city that avoids painful cuts. Now, this is intentionally written in a broad way, and we already have a vehicle to start working on this, which is our long-term financial planning committee. So it's getting us on the record as a part of, hopefully as a part of our vote on the budget this year, and then we can take that conversation which direction it goes. It does certainly call out growing our tax base as that's one of the primary levers that we do have access to. So there's no specific way that has to look or needs to look or that I imagine it look, but it is to have us really start to have that conversation in earnest. These things take years to bear fruit, and that's why we need to begin right now, build on the excellent work that's already happened in many ways with our planning staff and our city staff and commissions overall. So as I said, I'm open to many different directions, but thought it was important for us to be on the record about how we'll approach our responsibilities as fiscal stewards of this city in approving the one-time uses, hopefully approving the one-time uses of funds that are built into the fiscal year 2024 budget.
Okay, I do have some lights. Councilor O'Malley.
So I talked to Councilor McDonald before. I am in support in concept, but I think that for me, in addition to looking at ways that we can increase revenue, we also have to look at ways that we can kind of reduce costs. And, there are some things that really stick out, and they're kind of hard things, and I know I've mentioned it a couple of times. They're really tough conversations like, Northeast Metro Tech. The fact that it's being built on a hilltop, that they're, clear cutting and blasting is costing an additional $40 million. And so I think that in addition to looking at ways to increase revenue, we have to look at ways that we can reduce costs. I'm just concerned that the way this could be received is that, the city is looking to nickel and dime us, and they're going to increase water and sewer rates. They're going to increase, fees here, fees there. And I see it being played out that way. And so I think it's clear that, we're not looking to just increase revenues for shits and giggles. We're looking to increase revenues to really be able to afford the services that we need to provide that are essential, and that we are reducing our expenditures where appropriate, and really kind of taking a hard look at things. So I'm in support in concept, but I do think it's, as you said, there is the long-term strategic planning and finance committee. I do think that the mission there is really on point. So I don't know if maybe referring it to that committee is more appropriate. I just don't want it to be received by the public that we're going to be going out and looking to nickel and dime them by increasing revenues. That's just what I want to make sure that the public is aware that that's not the intent, but to really look at the essential services that we provide and make sure we have revenue to do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. I try to be as explicit as possible about the very good reasons that we have that are current commitments. But, if it would be helpful, because I would love to see broad support of this, since I think it's all of our responsibility, I'd be happy to add in the sentence, it's at the bottom of our agenda, it says Malden should evaluate all possible local income sources and add a clause there, as well as potential budget-saving measures to develop a plan to meet those needs. I think that's entirely appropriate and is also a part of being a good fiscal steward.
So that's an amendment, so we're gonna have to vote on that.
I'm sorry, Council
No,
President.
that's fine, but we just wanna make sure we wrote it. Do you have that written down?
second that.
All right, we just wanna make sure we have the amendment. The clerk was writing it down, so I wanna make sure. Can you read that
May I
back?
read that back to you?
Yes, you can.
It should also include investigation into new income sources as well as budget-saving measures at the local, state, and federal levels.
No, it's the, that isn't what I said, but that would be fine, actually.
What was it that you said?
Well, just, we can't really save money at the state level. I was looking at the two sentences above that where it says Malden should evaluate all possible local income sources. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a different agenda.
I have a different agenda.
This sentence right here.
Malden should evaluate all possible.
Local income sources.
Right underneath that. So, plan to, after needs?
After sources, comma, and then add that clause.
And the clauses, as you said it, yes?
Yes, and I will email
As well
that.
as budget-saving measures is what I heard you say.
That's right.
So not there, we're gonna put it right there. You got it. So we're gonna vote this as amended?
Yeah, Can we just, can we just hold off on that? I do have some other lights, so I wanna
Yep.
make sure that if somebody else has
Great.
something to add, we have time to,
Yep.
make
Great.
an addition to the changes. So just hold off on that. We have it written down, so, Counselor Karen Cologne Hayes first, and then Counselor Winslow, and then Counselor Murphy.
I was just going to.
Hold on one second, Karen. Counselor, sorry.
That's
There you go.
Well, first of all, hello, the cute little baby. And the second thing, I was just actually going to say, add me as a sponsor, but now I can just, well, we'll wait for Counselor Winslow if he has something to say. I would just make a motion.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Winslow.
No, having sat in on several of those finance committees as we're looking at the budget, certainly I think the last one last week was a very somber meeting where I think we were surprised that, I think we came through the budget without changes, but also that I think there was understanding that the situation is going to be getting more difficult the past couple of years between the great news, we get more Chapter 70 money, but the burden that puts us on us as well is just the fact that several resources that we've had the past few years are going away, and then there's a little bit more uncertainty in the economy. So I think I really appreciate you putting forward this resolve, and I'd be willing to be a co-sponsor and looking forward to working with the committee to really try to think what we can do. Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Murphy, you control your own mic, so. You're on mute, Counselor. Counselor Murphy, I can read lips, but you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
I can't.
Okay, thank you. Yes, no, I'd like to also be added as a sponsor for this. This is an extremely important issue. As Councilor Winslow mentioned, not just last week, but over the course of the Finance Committee meetings, it has become obvious that, over the next few years, we are going to be faced with some difficult decisions from a financial point of view. And it's important that, as Councilor McDonald has articulated, that we start looking, at how we can change the direction of the income and the revenue to the city. So I think this is a great resolve, definitely want to sponsor it. As Councilor McDonald said, it's something we should all be thinking of because, we certainly, need to understand, as anyone does with their own household expenses, what's coming down the road that we're going to be facing and how, we need to change to make sure that we can pay the bills, and keep people working and continue the city services that our residents and our constituents expect. So great resolve, Councilor McDonald. Glad to be a sponsor on it with you.
Not want to be a sponsor? Okay, so we'll reflect that as part of the amendment. We'll just get everybody's name in there. I do want to just say a couple of things. First of all, I won't say it's a great amendment because it's way too long. but I do find it an important task, because I think what Councilor McDonald so clearly articulated is there are various things happening inside the city right now in terms of projects, some, projects that we would hope to do, like the cultural center, right, even though we're gonna get it. There's the MBTA overlay, which is more residential, so there's a lot of these things that are coming to fruition now. And all good things must come to an end, and the opera money is all but, accounted for. There's a small amount that the mayor's asked, which I don't know if the public is made aware of, that the mayor asked through a series of letters to hold off on some of it for next year, because we feel the budget might be a lot leaner. But I think it's nothing different than any other community or household is facing right now. Inflation's good if you're gonna get a raise, inflation's bad if the gallon of milk costs more money, right? So I think this is a great exercise for us. We certainly want to pay our employees, which we know is a daunting task in this economy, a great wage, but that comes too with the benefits which have gone up, and I know Councilman McDonald probably mentioned during the budget. But, it's a time to recognize that we require, difficult choices, and we have to plan ahead for this environment. So I think it's a great paper. I look forward to working on it going forward. So with that being said, we do have the amendment. So on Councilor O'Malley's amendment, do you want to read it again or no?
I will.
Go ahead, sure, amendment.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's fine.
His amendment. So on Councilor O'Malley's amendment, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Do you want to reread the amendment, or be happy?
I'm happy with it.
Okay. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seeka. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, amendments passed. On Councilor McDonald's motion, everybody's going to be added as a sponsor, seconded by Councilor O'Malley. Clerk will call the roll again. This is to pass the paper as amended.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe. Yes. Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seeka. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Passed as amended with everybody on there. Great job, Councilor McDonald. Next order of business, Clerk. You might want to drink before this one.
Paper 256-23 resolve that it is the sense of the Malden City Council that it is vital for our city's future to have a fair requirement for local education funding, one that reflects the city's true ability to pay as tiered to our actual revenue sources. The Massachusetts Student Opportunity Act, now in its fourth year of implementation, is providing critical resources for the Malden Public Schools to support our students and families. With $9 million in new Chapter 70 state funds for our next year, we are grateful to be able to hire new teachers and support staff for our students, who are 74% Black, Indigenous, and people of color, 63% low income, 23% English language learners, and 18% students with disabilities. However, as the full SOA Foundation funding formula is phased in, it is also dramatically raising Malden's expected contributions to the schools beyond our ability to pay. Next year requires Malden to contribute $3.1 million more in local funding for schools, capturing 85% of the total expected increase in local tax revenue and receipts for the whole city. As a gateway city, Malden is a high-need, diverse, mixed-income city with large immigrant community. Yet, Malden currently has one of the lowest per capita expenditures of Massachusetts cities on all other non-school services, and our local property taxes are already at the limit allowed by state law. As the SOA continues to phase in over the next few years, increases in much-needed education state aid are likely to come with a steep price of requiring Malden to reduce other city services for our residents, such as public health, infrastructure, libraries, parks, and emergency responders. In its 2020 local contribution study, the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education noted that the required local contribution calculation is problematic and has been almost unchanged since 2007. We thank our state delegation for their support and call on our state leaders in the legislature Governor's Office, and DESI to fix the required local contribution so that it reflects the ability to pay equitably and accurately for schools and other essential city services for Malden and all other high-need communities.
Thank you. Councilor McDonald for the paper. The resolve.
Thank you. And Acting Council President, I just want to let you know that I had written these resolves shorter, but I padded them just for your benefit, knowing you would share this meeting. No, I'm just kidding. I do think it's important to get the details here because education funding isn't simple, but the details really do matter. And in this case, we have the true definition of a double-edged sword, which is we're getting exceptional resources this year from the state. It's really excellent. It's providing for new teachers and behavioral therapists and administrators in our buildings, and yet it is also demanding more than we are really set up to pay because of restrictions that are also in state law and competing demands by the state and agreements authorized by the state. So as we discussed in our Finance Committee meeting, we've talked, some of us as individual city councilors, and certainly the mayor has talked extensively with our state delegation, Senator Lewis, Rep. Trino, Rep. Donato, and Rep. Kate Libragera-Bedian, and they've all been very supportive. So actually the amendment that I was going to add is just to clarify that a little bit, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this resolve also makes the point, to the earlier question about what else can we cut. I think that's always a question to ask. We should always be shifting resources from places where they're having less impact to where they're having more. And yet, Malden is run on comparison by a shoestring budget compared to some of our peers. Just for reference, if you'll humor me, I looked up some of our neighboring cities and what they're spending for FY24. So the city of Revere, their proposed budget is, no, I'm sorry, I've got Everett. Oh, Everett. Everett's proposed fiscal year 24 budget is $364 million. Malden's proposed FY24 budget is $215 million. I'm sorry, that's their revenues. That's their revenues. Yeah. So the city of Everett. I want to make sure that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Expenditures are only $314 million. So that's $100 million more that the city of Everett is spending. The city of Medford is a little under us at $205 million, and they are spending $20 million less on their schools. So their school system is smaller and less high need than Malden. So that the amount of money that's going to other services is still significantly more than Malden's, despite being a smaller and less high need city. Revere, I just had this right here, is I think also about $260–70 million. Now, again, they have a pretty big school system. But the point here is that, as we've done a lot of analysis about this, when you look at cities that have the population of immigrants and renters and folks without financial means that are living in our city, just like other gateway cities, Malden is really, we're really stretched to meet our current commitment. So we always want to look for savings, but we also need to just have these two results work together so that we're charting a sustainable financial path for our future that's not hollowing out our city and the services that we work very hard to deliver to our residents. So that's what I wanted to say about that, and I have, like I said, just a one-sentence amendment to add when the time. I can read that to you right now if you like, Clerk. And I do have that. I do have it in an email so that I can just send it to you when we're done with this meeting. So the sentence I wanted to add is
Send it to you, so save your pen.
prior to where it says with $9 million in new Chapter 70 state aid funds, I'm going to add a sentence before that says, we recognize and appreciate the ongoing efforts of Malden State Delegation in supporting the passage of this SOA and its continued funding for implementation, from which Malden is already seeing substantial benefits. And then we'll say with $9 million, et cetera, et cetera.
So that is an amendment. We will vote on that, but can we hold off, Council McDonald?
Yes, you
just
can.
like we did in the past?
Yep.
Okay, Council O'Malley, you going to make another amendment?
I might,
No, just fine.
actually.
We can do the same vote as last one.
So, Councillor McDonald and I, as well as many of us, have talked about, this, particularly in the Finance Committee. And, one of the things you'll realize to some of the newer councillors is that, as things change, the more they stay the same. I believe the first person to say that to me up on here was Councillor D'Arcangelo, probably in 2016. And the reason why I recall that is because in 2016, the Finance Committee, under the leadership of Councillor Kinnan, passed a very similar resolve that we ended up passing probably unanimously, and it was Resolve 288-16, and it said it was the resolve that the Malden Legislative Delegation work to amend Chapter 70 school aid formula, and the resolve is that it is the sense of the City Council that the Legislative Delegation work to encourage the review and amendment of Chapter 70 education formula to provide more equitable distribution of funds to communities based more directly on actual student need. I think that what we are passing tonight adds a lot more why in terms of the demographic data that's really valuable. And I almost wonder if we should put a reference in here that we renew our request under 2888-16, just to kind of put it into a full perspective of we've been asking this for almost decades at this point. Yeah, the antiquity of it. So again, it's just 288-16, and that was from May 24th, 2016. Just wanted to put it out there for the history that this battle has been going on for a long time, which is why, it's great to renew this request.
So it
Thank
sounds
you.
like Council O'Malley would like to add as an amendment. Council McDonald?
Well, I appreciate that, and I want to look this up to make sure I understand what the text is, but from what you just read, they actually sound like slightly separate things. For the folks watching, just apologize for just the detailed explanation for a moment here, right? But the way that the state determines how much money you get as a school district is they start with what's called the foundation formula, which is supposed to be the foundation of resources you need for all your students to succeed. And the foundation formula has a whole bunch of inputs about the nature of your students and what they need and how many are on IEPs, individualized education programs for students with special needs, and so on. And it spits out this total that says this is how much money your school district needs. Minimum. This is how much you need to succeed. And then there's a separate formula that says, and this is how much the local city is supposed to contribute towards that, and the state picks up the remainder. And that resolve was passed prior to implementation of the Student Opportunities Act. And what that resolve says is that the language, was about the
need for
actual need. So I believe that the current foundation formula does demonstrate actual student need. That's not the problem. Our legislative delegation and our allies in the State House moved a lot of mountains in order to get that new foundation formula, which is based on student need, into state law. So our students are well evaluated and getting resources in that regard. The problem is that the assumptions about what we can contribute to that are out of whack and defy explanation for how we're supposed to get there. And indeed, there's another, I think, 10 or 12 million that will ultimately be expected of us, sort of if it were fully implemented today. And you can't scope out too far in the future, of course, because enrollments change and the whole formula kind of works together across the state. So you can't say that with true certainty. But I actually think those are separate things, student need and local ability to contribute to student need.
Yeah, go ahead, absolutely. Oh, I didn't know I shut you off. There you go.
So I think those are great points, and I think it's 100% correct. I think that probably this is blending those two issues together, because I think probably we didn't understand the nuances at the time, because it specifically refers to equitable distribution of funds to communities, which is what can we afford to pay. But yeah, again, it wasn't a motion. I just wanted to put it out there that, we've been talking about this for a long time. People on all sides of the aisle, people from every color of a political spectrum. And so it's clearly something that Malden needs. And, I hope that our legislative delegation will get it together and be able to do that. And not that they haven't been doing it, but that, it does take mountains to be moved. And luckily we have a delegation that is able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Barbara Murphy. Yep. You control your mic, Council.
Thank you, Council Spatafora. One of the, and I understand both things that both Council McDonald and Council O'Malley have said. I think one of the biggest things this year that happened during the Finance Committee meeting is we were all extremely very pleased when the school budget came in. And we, as Councilor McDonald mentioned, we saw the new assistant principals that were being put in the school, the new media tech folks that were being put in to kind of upgrade what a librarian has been in the past and what our children need today. A number of different positions that were being added, and we're thankful for that. And the Student Opportunity Act is what contributed to the school department having really enough money to be able to really fund our school system, for this next fiscal year. The problem is, as Councilor McDonald just said, what we're faced with is the fact that what the demand on the city side is going to be as we move forward in the coming years is going to drastically affect our ability as a city to provide us, our constituents, with basic city services. And that's where the problem lies. So, Councilor O'Malley, I hear exactly what you were saying. Back in 2018, we had a similar problem. Maybe it was, it was focused on just getting enough funds based on, the needs of the students. But now the Student Opportunity Act has flipped us into, the opposite side where our city services are going to be totally affected. And going back to Councilor McDonald's previous resolve of us needing to find ways to, increase revenues to keep the city services in place that our constituents expect is going to be a huge, it's going to be a huge task. And, we all as counselors, need to face this head on and, figure out how we're going to survive over the next, 2, 4, 5 years, because it definitely is a train coming down the track that's going to have a big impact on our city. So I think all of these resolves are great. It's something we need to talk about. Long-term planning, needs to really, get in gear now, because, as was, I believe, Councilor McDonald once again said, these things don't turn on a dime. They take years to put into place the programs, et cetera, that will help us get to where we need to go in the end. But I think our eyes are open, and, as a team, we need to move forward along with the executive branch to figure out where we go from here. So once again, I'd like to be added as a sponsor to this also. Thank you.
Don't worry about it. Thank you, Council Murphy. My screen's a little haywire right here. Give me 1 second. Here we. Oh, now I can't see. Jesus. Sorry, you're technical challenge. Okay, so Council O'Malley's not going to make a motion, so you have a motion?
Yes, I have a motion to make an amendment, which I'm happy to state again if folks would like me to do that.
No, I don't think we need to say.
Okay.
You're going to email it. You don't want,
Yep.
anybody want it? Right? Everybody got it?
Yeah.
You're going to email it too anyways, right?
I will email that to the clerk, yes.
So before we take the vote, can I speak?
Please.
I just wanted anybody else. So, does everybody want to be added to this resolve? I'm assuming that's a yay? Yes. Everybody will be added to this resolve. I would just, no hands, I got it. I would just fundamentally say, first of all, great job to Council McDonald on identifying this, and I don't want to take anything away from him. Ron Hogan, I think, came to us, I think, a year ago with the same problem. What Council McDonald, I think, certainly, I know he has some experience on the school side, was able to identify as the chair this year, the budget, how that really came together and affected this year's budget and future budgets. So it certainly became a personal passion to his, and I applaud him for that. What I would say, and this is not trying to be overemphasizing or certainly to try to make it newsworthy, but I personally think this is one of the greatest challenges the city of Malden is facing financially over the next 5 to 10 years. Because what Councilor Murphy said, what Councilor O'Malley has said, certainly what Councilor McDonald has said is we cannot continue to do what we're doing with this formula the way it's working. It is broken. And it's a tug of war between the schools and everybody else. And it's not an internal fight, it is a fight that we have to make as counselors. And if that formula is not fixed, we have some troubles ahead. And so I think it is something that certainly is important to us. And this is stressing to the state delegation, but this, not to be hyperbole, this is the biggest threat to the city, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years if it's not corrected right away. So So with that being said, Counsel McDonald, I know you have a motion, seconded by Counsel O'Malley. Clerk will call the roll.
To pass the amendment.
Yep.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe. Yes. Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald.
Yes.
Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Counsel President Murphy.
Yes.
Amendment passes. On Counsel McDonald's motion to pass as amended, seconded by Counselor O'Malley. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe. Yes. Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald. Yes. Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Counsel President Murphy.
Yes.
Passes as amended, and everybody's added to that as a co-sponsor. Thank you. Nice work, Counsel McDonald. Clerk, next order of business.
Paper 257-23, Committee Report, the Standing Committee on Rules and Ordinance, to whom was referred Paper 237, Series of 2023. Having considered the same, make the following report, that the committee recommends this paper out favorably to the full council.
On Counsel Crow's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor, Counsel Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Councilor Linehan. Councilor McDonald. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Seega. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
On Counsel, as approved, approved, Counsel Crowe for the committee.
Do you want me to read the paper before?
Oh, I'm sorry, read the paper, I'm sorry.
Paper-
I'm still flustered with all the roll calls. She's gonna read the paper.
Paper 237-23, order, be it ordained by the Malden City Council that the code of the City of Malden be hereby amended by updating Title II, Chapter 24, Section 060, Police Patrolman Salary Schedule.
Counsel Crowe for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a matter of process where, like last week, we had met in the ordinance committee, updates the salary schedule in the ordinances, and for this is for our police patrolmen and women, and it's because of successful negotiations with the administration. So the committee voted it out favorably unanimously. So make a motion that we approve.
Any questions for Counsel Crowe? Okay, on Counsel Crowe's motion to enroll the ordinance, clerk, seconded by, Counsel Winslow. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe.
Yes.
Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald. Yes. Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Seega. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
So I'd also like to make a motion to suspend docket rules for the purposes of ordaining.
Hold on, Counsel O'Malley.
The only thing I'd say is, rather than doing that, because if it fails, then we can't pass it. Can we pass the financial paper that would fund this before we change the ordinance? So we have it enrolled?
I would think in process, you really can't, because, you know, you have to have the ordinance in place for it to be funded.
Because isn't the next one to do a transfer to fund this?
Correct. So you need the ordinance in place to be able to make that
Update the
transfer
update
into
the salary
something to
schedules.
actually fund what the salary schedules say in the ordinance.
I see what you're saying. I think only thing, the reason I say I think it's backwards is that if we pass the ordinance that says that the salaries are different, but then we fail to be able to pass the financial paper, slim chance, then you're in a weird circumstance where you haven't funded, but you are.
So you want to hold off in the end?
No, I think it's semantics. Let's just move forward with it.
The reason why we have joint committee meetings, so that everybody gets a sense.
Oh, the clerk's timing in now. It's.
Yes, we did have a joint committee, finance and ordinance committee meeting, so we are hearing all the information at the same time, so we can make an informed decision.
And the reason why we're having this debate is next week is not a full council meeting, so we
It
would
is a
rather,
full
we would
council
want,
meeting.
not that we want to rush this, that's the reason why we'd want to ordain it tonight, because next week. Is it
It
full? Oh, that's
is.
right, the last meeting of the year is always full. I'm sorry, my bad. My bad, it is. So take that theory off the table. Yeah, the last one is always, right, the last one is always a full meeting.
But I'm sure that that's going to be a packed agenda too,
Yeah,
as
probably
we
will be.
have things. So
So,
I still make a
probably a bunch
motion
of
that we
transfers.
suspend docket rules to.
Okay, so we
for
can get a
the
second.
purposes of ordaining.
Council Winslow, do you second that? Okay, on Councilor Crow's motion to suspend docket rules in order, suspend docket rules, seconded by Councilor Winslow. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe.
Yes.
Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald. Yes. Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay.
Make
Rules
a
are
motion to
suspended.
ord-
Counselor Crowe.
Make a motion to ordain.
Okay, on Counselor Crow's motion to ordain, paper 23-7-23, seconded by Counselor Seega. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe.
Yes.
Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald. Yes. Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Paper is ordained. Now the pressure is on our favorite pen artist, Counselor McDonald. Counselor McDonald, we got a next order of business?
Paper 258-23, Committee Report, the Standing Committee on Finance, to whom was referred paper 238, Series of 2023. Having considered the same, make the following report. Committee recommends this paper out favorably to the full council.
On Counselor McDonald's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor?
No,
All those-
can't.
Oh, second it?
You gotta do the roll call.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm looking,
Voting against it.
sorry.
Counselor Cologne Hayes? Yes. Counselor Condon? Yes. Counselor Crowe?
Yes.
Counselor Linehan? Yes. Counselor McDonald?
Yes.
Counselor McDonald? Counselor
Yes,
O'Malley?
yes.
Counselor Seega? Yes. Counselor Simonelli? Counselor Spatafora?
Yes.
Counselor Winslow? Yes. Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Paper is received. Paper 238-23, order that the sum of $350,000 is transferred from salary reserve to police labor salaries.
On Counsel McDonald's, you already, did you take the vote? Counsel McDonald for the paper.
So this appropriation will just cover the current fiscal year, since the agreement with the patrolmen's union is backdated to the beginning of this fiscal year, so July 1st, 2022. And so this will just catch up this fiscal year. We did have a conversation with our CFO about whether to include any updates in next year's budget, but there are a lot of factors that contribute to how much demand there is on that salary line, so we're gonna hold off on any further adjustments for now. It will also give us a chance, hopefully, to see the details of the new agreement going forward. So this is just to catch us up through this fiscal year. So I'm happy to make a motion to approve if there are no further questions.
We just accepted this committee report. He's discussing it here. This is the committee report.
Yeah.
On the paper that he's discussing right now, the police labor salaries.
All right.
That funds
You-
this.
Did you read that? You gotta read this one.
I did.
You did?
Yep.
All right, I did. I heard him say that, yep. Sorry, I'm just catching up here. So any questions for Counsel McDonald on the transfer? Okay, I do need a second. On Counsel Linehan's second, so on Counsel McDonald's motion to adopt the order, seconded by Counsel Linehan.
Yep.
Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe.
Yes.
Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald.
Yes.
Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Next order of business.
Paper 259-23, Committee Report, the Standing Committee on Finance, to whom was referred paper 219, Series of 2023. Having considered the same, make the following report. Receive the committee report.
Do you want a motion
We
to
need a
accept the
motion to
committee
receive.
report?
Yeah, we gotta do a roll call. On Counselor McDonald's motion to receive the committee report, seconded by Counselor Seega. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Counselor Condon. Yes. Counselor Crowe.
Yes.
Counselor Linehan. Yes. Counselor McDonald.
Yes.
Counselor O'Malley. Yes. Counselor Seega. Yes. Counselor Simonelli. Yes. Counselor Spatafora.
Yes.
Counselor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Counsel McDonald for the paper.
Thank you all. So we've been having a lot of conversations about the fiscal year 24 budget. I also, I just want to go back to the resolves very quickly and note that, well, I appreciate the appreciation for me, but I really do think this is a team effort, and we spent a lot of good time in committee talking through these things. I was really just trying to capture what we had talked about, and of course I have to give a lot of appreciation to our City Hall staff, Maria Louise from the Mayor's office, Ron Hogan, our Chief Strategy Officer, who has been, yes, like a dog with the bone on this Chapter 70 stuff for quite some time. The Mayor, of course, for his support, our CFO, Chuck Rannigan, and Treasurer Dan Grover, who have all been a part of these conversations, and all the department directors that we did meet with. So I want to just give a couple very quick highlights from the budget this year. It's very much a steady as she goes budget, with one big exception, which is the Malden Public Schools. The Malden Public Schools is adding 43 new positions in next year, and as I said, that includes some registered behavioral therapists in the Early Learning Center. It includes social work and adjustment counselors and an additional assistant principal at all of our K-8 schools, making sure that all of our K-8 schools have Spanish teachers and STEM teachers, and additional student supports, including dean of student positions at Malden High School, and making sure that positions that had been funded by one-time federal stimulus money, not ARPA, but one of the earlier ones that we learned is called ESSER, not to be confused with the ESSA. That's right. They're different things. All of those positions are retained by moving them on to the regular budget. So a lot going on for the schools, a lot of parents, a lot of teachers, a lot of students have advocated for more resources. I really want to appreciate that, and we're really able to see that come through. We even talked about, school facilities and how we've been able to invest federal stimulus money in a lot of upgrades to our HVAC and other systems in the schools, which will save us some money over time. And I know a number of us have asked about the out-of-school time and the Malden out-of-school program. That's after school, before school, and the district has assured us they are continuing to work hard to recruit teachers. They did a recruitment fair, and hoping that we'll have we'll be fully staffed going into the fall. And we'll have media specialists positions in each of the libraries at our K-8 schools. So lots of great things happening there. In some of the other, as I said, the other budgets are quite flat. We didn't add any positions to any of the other departments outside of the schools. So just a couple of small pieces here and there from our meetings. In IT, where we had a cybersecurity attack earlier this year, we've upped some funding. This budget includes increased funding for our IT security profile and for monitoring, and continuing our cybersecurity training for city staff. For our Malden Public Library, we continue to have the second year where we are meeting state minimum requirements, which, I guess is certainly better than not, but I'm glad to see us continuing to fund our library at that expectation level. And they're working on increasing hours and being able to even have access to a mini bookmobile and some access to the old historic section of the library. So lots of fun things from the Malden Public Library. Watch for that. Little bit of more money for the fire department and the public facilities department for maintenance, especially given that we've purchased new trucks with federal stimulus money. We're trying to take care of the assets that we have, which I think is prudent. And our Department of Public Works, which reports being really pretty much fully staffed, which we were all glad to hear, they have added funding for field maintenance. That's aeration, fertilization, weed control, to make sure that we're upping our game in terms of the athletic fields that we have in our public parks. So those are the highlights from our meetings, and we did not have any edits or proposed amendments to the budget this year. I know many of us, we made some changes last year. Many of us have been working through our ARPA subcommittees as well, and I think we're all pretty realistic about the long-term financial prospects. So I appreciate everyone's support in this process. As I said, it's a real group effort, and happy to make a motion when my colleagues are done sharing what they'd like to share for adoption this year.
Council O'Malley. No, I do, yes, sorry. Yeah, it is. I don't know why it's not.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor McDonald, for that that overview of the budgeting process. I think that we've said it multiple times, but we are using $3 million in free cash. That is kind of our savings account. So that is a sign of the times, and that's in addition to the ARPA money that we're using to plug and fill the gaps. So it's definitely not a sustainable thing to do long-term. So, it is something that we need to get under control. And I hope that we do that because, I think doing it incrementally is going to be better than if it all kind of comes down like a bag of bricks. But, not all doom and gloom. It's great that we are going to be adding to the school department. I know just one of the things I had heard recently out there from the teachers union, it looks like there were some like pink slips, non-renewals that went out, right before the end of the school year. So for me, I am a little confused how we can be adding positions, but also be sending out pink slips. I think that's probably something internal. I know it's kind of regular to do that. I never quite understood it. I remember my teachers, when I was at Malden High School, always kind of being it was very emotionally tolling to get a pink slip like that. Is it a pink slip or something? Is that what they call it? Pink slip? I think it's a pink slip. So I don't know. I don't know what the process is, but I think that, we do need to kind of do some outreach to make sure that we are, speaking with one voice. Thank you.
Tell me that, Simonelli. Tell me. Okay, any questions for the finance chair? Or comments, or suggestions, or thoughts, or anything?
Did a great job.
Was there any?
Last week.
Public hearing was last week. No public comment.
There were no public comment today, and Barbara has.
Yeah, yep, I'm sorry, I'm listening to the full conversations. Council Murphy? President Murphy?
Yes, as I said in the Finance Committee meeting earlier this evening, I'd just like to thank Councilor McDonald and the Finance team, as well as all the individuals that Councilor McDonald thanked from the administrative staff for all the hard work that went into this budget. It truly was, I attended most of the meetings and saw the process, and just very proud of the work and effort and commitment that the council put into this, as well as everyone working on the city staff. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, President Murphy. Anybody else? Okay, I just want to add a couple things. Just always to clarify what Council McDonald said, the opera money, we're saving some, and there was tens of millions of dollars there. And it was not wasted by no means or any way spent. I think it was done in a very thoughtful manner. There's a lot of things, but I'll give you an example. Councilor McDonald mentioned I believe we're getting 2 new engines. Those engines, when I became a council not that long ago, I think were $500,000, which are unoutfitted. That means no lights, no equipment. Those trucks now cost $900,000 each. We would never be able to buy that type of, 2 of them at once, without either bonding or using ARPA money. The other thing is I know most of the schools, and I do not want to speak, but I know I think all of the schools except for one, I don't know which one, have had all their HVAC systems upgraded. And that was, I think, almost $10 or $11 million just in HVAC. So we've talked about inflation and all these things. I mean, right there, you're talking probably $12 to $13 million that poof, it's gone. So I know there's some housing projects and the things, so there's a lot of money that was spent in the right way and transparent, and allowed us to do things we would never be able to do. But that's coming to an end. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is Council McDonald did a phenomenal job as a finance chair. It is a hard job, and I want at least the residents to realize, along with the financial team, Ron Hogan, the CFO, Mr. Rannigan, the mayor, Maria Louise, they don't meet in the beginning of May and schedule meetings and go through that. This is a process that goes throughout the year. Once you're named finance chair, it's usually a weekly meeting along with the president, meeting with the mayor to figure out what's going on in those endeavors. So kudos to that team. And more importantly, I think as a council, we should take some kudos too, is we've invested in some software that allowed us to be more transparent with the budget process. I mean, for those councils who've been here for a while, it wasn't that long ago we got these big books, right? And you would have to go through these pages, and it was not an easy process for a council, and never mind the public. We've put that software, the name's gonna escape me, I'm sure somebody can tell me.
CityGov.
No.
ClearGov.
Was it
ClearGov.
No, was it ClearGov?
Yeah,
No,
it's
what's the
ClearGov.
software for is it Clear?
It's ClearGov.
Is it ClearGov? It's ClearGov.
I'm looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
and
ClearGov.
Yeah, that's
ClearGov.
permanent, ClearGov.
Yeah, ClearGov.
ClearGov, which allows you to go on there and look at it in a very transparent way and see the money, where they're going and the budgeting. And, it was, to Council McDonald's point, there was really only an increase in the education portion of it. And next year, we are prepared, but great job. in the budget. The last thing I will say is, I don't recall, maybe Council Condon does, or somebody's been here a little bit longer, I've never seen a budget come down that had no amendments. Not even a dollar was changed. And that was part of the process where the council will say, hey, based on the facts and circumstances, we've talked to all these department heads, we need $5,000 for this, or we need this. I'm sure there was a lot of wishes, but I think it just showed, the transparency, the finance team meeting with the management, and probably some of that luck with the opera money coming in to help the staff that. But this is the first year that I can ever recall of not seeing $1 being transferred from one side to the equation to the other. So that's pretty impressive, given a $200 million budget, that there was no amendments made from either the mayor's office or the council. So kudos. So with that being said, on Council McDonald's motion to...
Can I just make one quick
Yeah,
comment
absolutely,
also? Just because we've been talking about ARPA, I want to make sure folks know there's a section on that ClearGov site where you can look and see all the ways that the city
Good
has
point,
spent
Council.
its ARPA money.
Yep.
You can read about all the projects that have been authorized. We had a meeting with the city's ARPA coordinator, Stephanie Muccini-Burke, before the budget process started, and went through all that and got a great report. So I encourage you to check that out as well on that ClearGov website if you want to learn more about how we've been, I think, well spending those ARPA funds.
Great point, Counselor. Great point.
Do we have a second?
I'm gonna, yeah, so on Councilor McDonald's motion to adopt the order of the budget for fiscal year 2024 as a proposed budget and transmitted, seconded by Councilor Sika. Clerk will call the roll.
Okay, and just to be official, I'm reading paper 219-23 into the record order, the fiscal year 2024 annual appropriation order. Councilor Cologne Hayes. Yes. Councilor Condon. Yes. Councilor Crowe.
Yes.
Councilor Linehan. Yes. Councilor McDonald.
Yes.
Councilor O'Malley. Yes. Councilor Sika. Yes. Councilor Simonelli. Yes. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Yes. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Budget passes. Congratulations.
Well done.
Next order of business.
Paper 260-23, Committee Report, the Standing Committee on License, to whom was referred papers 215, 216, 217, 218, and 234, series of 2023, having considered the same, make the following report. Committee recommends these papers out favorably to the full council.
So I believe there are 2, 4, is it 5 or 6? 5?
5 petitions.
5, yeah, there's 5 petitions. So if the council doesn't mind, can we group these together to one vote? And if somebody has a problem with one individually, just raise your hand, yell my name, and we'll take that out of sequence. So on Council Sika's motion to receive the committee report, seconded by Councilor Crowe, clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Councilor Linehan. Councilor McDonald. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Sika. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Passes 11-0. Thank you, Councilor Sika, for the committee. Oh, yeah, turn your mic on, Council. I'm sorry, I keep on forgetting I gotta turn these on.
Do you want me to read these first or after you speak?
Yeah, you can read them first.
Paper 215-23, petition, pool table, Club 24, Inc., 787 Salem Street, Malden, 2 tables renewal. Paper 216-23, petition, open air parking lot, Emmanuel Baptist Church, 20 Madison Street, 20 spaces renewal. Paper 217-23, petition, secondhand dealer, AM Design Jewelry, 664 Salem Street, renewal. Paper 218-23, petition, pool tables, Italian American War Vets Post 16, 40 Oakland Street, 1 table renewal. Paper 234-23, petition, pool table, Irish American 177 West Street, 2 tables renewal.
Councilor Sika for committee.
Thank you. Last week, the License Committee met to discuss these 5 renewals, and there were no issues with the compliance guides, and the committee voted to recommend these out favorably. So motion to grant these petitions.
Okay, on Councilor Sika's motion to grant, seeing none, no lights, seconded by Councilor O'Malley, clerk will call the roll. 1 vote for all 5. Yep.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Councilor Linehan. Councilor McDonald. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Sika.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora.
Yes.
Councilor Winslow. Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Licenses are granted, 11-0. Congratulations. The next 2 papers were already voted on. Those were Council Linehan's on the Appointments Committee, so we've already done all those. They both passed 11-0 to refresh your memory, because I had to refresh mine, so we did both of them. So we're going to jump to the table papers we took off. I believe that is, the docket is clear. Council O'Malley for personal privilege.
Fresh out of the gate.
Yep, you got it.
So this coming Sunday, June 25th, the Malden Pride Organization is going to be having a Malden Pride event at Quartermilly Park. Please come out and enjoy. We're going to have different events and bouncy house, or like an obstacle course. There's going to be lots of other things going on. The exact time, does anyone recall the exact time? I think it's like 12 to 4, 11 to 4-ish. But yeah, Quartermilly Park, right near the pool on Mountain Ave. In terms of, I guess we will be on TV next week, but just in case, yeah, so 12 to 4 at Quartermilly. Ward 4 is going to be having our Independence Day celebration on Saturday, July 1st. I hope to see everyone there. It's always been a great event. Event planning is not my forte, but it's great to have you all come out. Any volunteers that you want to come, and look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Council O'Malley. Councilor Karen Colon-Hayes.
Thank you. I was still kind of writing some of this. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who showed up for our Juneteenth event on Saturday. Thank you. It was, just for those listening, this holiday, Juneteenth, it commemorates the ending of slavery in the U.S. in 1865, and Juneteenth is short for June 19th. And so following the international protests sparked in May 2020 of the killing of George Floyd, a lot of other cities started celebrating. Malden Core brought the first Juneteenth celebration to Malden 6 years ago, and it's been growing ever since. And now we are officially called the Juneteenth Committee with help from the city and so many other people. We were able to throw an amazing Juneteenth celebration on Saturday. Even with the rain, we had to scramble last minute, all of us trying to work out different logistics for that day. And over 250 people showed up, which is amazing, especially with a change of venue that quick. So I wanted to we had the Juneteenth committee. This year we added Zilly Misik, who had an interactive portion with cultural drumming and rhythm and movement, and they were great. We added gospel this year, steps, spoken word, which are part of it, and a community dinner that was a cultural dinner. So I had great feedback from people on how inclusive it was. I'm also going to say by inclusion, I'm going to add in Elena Martinez was doing live translation. That was amazing. That's the first time that we did that. And people did use it. And it was a wonderful thing to be able to hear in your own language what was going on. So I want to thank her for that. And also Urga Pierrette and Rachel Sorleen, specifically from the committee, who worked tirelessly for many, many months. Anyone who's thrown a big event like this with so many moving parts, with flag raisings, knows what kind of work goes into that, and for so many months, and they're all volunteers. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came. And in addition to Malden Pride Festival, the celebration, there is a vigil on Friday, which I've been working really hard. It's a great interface. It's Saturday. Sorry. Thank you very much. It's Saturday. And it is at Roosevelt Park, and I will get all the information. I've been posting about it, and it is 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. And I was focused on Juneteenth, but I do want to say that that has been planning for many, many months, and it's about to have a vigil on trans lives, and we have so many different interfaith people coming out to speak, which I think is fantastic. So I hope you show up, and I will put that information on my page with all the correct logistics. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Simonelli. No, wait till I put the mic on. I know you've been busy over there talking, so wait till I get the mic on. Hold on. There you go, Councilor Simonelli. Now you have permission.
This guy's something. Okay.
Did I take the wind away from you?
Yeah, once again, you did. Thank you, Mr. President. Madam President, how are you? I just wanted to let everybody know that there's a lot of activity going down around in Ward 7. We have a tree planting and beautification program taking place for the last week or so, and I just wanted to thank Director Bobby Knox and Chris Rosa, along with the mayor's office, for helping us put this together. And if you go around Ward 7, you'll see a lot of beautification and new trees being planted, and we're not finished yet. So I just want to let people know that also with that is going to be coming soon, if you haven't already seen it. Again, streets and sidewalks throughout the rest of the summer, going into the fall. And again, I'd like to thank the Roads Committee folks for all the hard work they do on making this happen, not just in my neighborhood, but in all of our neighborhoods. And I just want to congratulate Suffolk Manor on their new community garden that they have down there, and they're having a good time with planting and watering those flower boxes. Maybe hopefully next year we can maybe plant a couple more. But again, I want to thank Bobby Bishop for making the boxes for us, who lives at Suffolk Manor, is a good friend of mine. And I'd like to thank Bobby Knox again from the DPW, who brought us the soil to be able to create the community gardens. And the Malden Housing Authority for allowing us to come down and put those flower boxes in the Suffolk Manor community area in the back. And I'd like to thank the mayor for coming down and, kicking me out of my job on making ice cream sundaes, because he's faster at it than I am. So I just wanted to say that a lot of things are going on down at Suffolk Manor, and a lot of things are going around down in the ward itself. Bowden Apartments is having its community policing, and we're having a lot of programs going on down there in the community room and on field trips they've been taking. So there's a lot of good stuff happening. Give me a call or call one of your counselors. I'm sure they'll have the information to see what else is going on down there. But I just want to say thank you. And we will be having our 4th of July celebration on July 1st, Saturday. And I've changed it for like the third time, so I'm hoping this will be the last as we're getting closer. But 10 to 4, come on down. Just close it up, bring them over. All right, come on over if you want. You said you're not too good at the party planning, just come on over. Bring the rolls, and I'll get the rest of the stuff. Come on down. I'd be more than happy to work with you, Counselor. But anyway, it's 10 to 4. Unless we change it again, but 10 to 4 Saturday, July 1st. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you, Council.
All righty.
Council Murphy, I'm going to go to you. I don't know where you were on the list, but I'm going to jump to you because you don't get the ability to, unless you want to go last as the president, it's up to you.
No, actually, outside of saying Ward 5 is having the July 4th party on the traditional July 4th day, Tuesday. Time is 10 to 2. Looking forward to seeing everyone. The flyers will be going out next week. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Murphy. Councilor Margaret Crow. That's her real name. That's what I'm going to call her. Her mother calls her Margaret. I call her Margaret.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. So as Councilor Cologne Hayes had said, sometimes when you change venues, it is a little difficult. And so this 4th of July, Wards 1 and 2, we will have a little change in venue. So we will be sticking with the 3rd of July. We have movie night at Green Street Park, and that starts around 6 o'clock. We'll have a bounce house and some other things going on. And then I'm not sure of the movie yet, so don't ask me. But so the movie will start at sundown. We'll have popcorn and lots of fun things. We will have the Greg Lucy 3-on-3 basketball tournament that is run through the Recreation Department. So you might want to reach out to Joe Levine or Laura Perez if you want to sign up for that tournament. That's a lot of fun. And then on the 4th of July, Tuesday from 9 to 1, we will be now at Callahan Park, which is right next to McDonald Stadium. Councilor Condon can reiterate that. We'll have all the same rides and races and blow-ups and water slides and, food and refreshments. So we hope everybody comes down. It's a little change of venue, but so if anyone wants to help spread the word, that would be great to make sure everybody knows where we are. And as the summer is rolling in, Malden likes to celebrate. So, I just wanted to announce, and we'll say it again next week, that Sal's Malden Summer Concert Series 2023, Tuesday Night Tunes will begin on July 11th, and it's Sal's Summer Concerts because in honor of Sal Khan, who was a very active volunteer at UMA and did a lot of filming of all of these events, and it really is in his honor. And so they are from 6 to 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, right out here at 215 Pleasant Street. July 11th is the Smack Dabs. July 25th is the Reminiscence. August 8th is Brothers Walk Band. And August 22nd is That Ben's Garden Boat. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see people out there and enjoy.
Councilor McDonald.
Thank you all. A couple of small points. First, just, thank you to the organizers of the Juneteenth celebration. As someone who is personally descended from enslaved peoples in Georgia, and I grew up going to Juneteenth celebrations, but they were small. So it's just meaningful to have the whole community invested in that. So I appreciate that. And just, I hope folks have some great events for the Malden Pride Coalition. I can't be there this weekend, but I'm helping to sponsor one of the events, and I just want you all to know my heart will be with you, even though I can't be there in person due to a work trip. I wanted to say thank you to Emily Granoff, our Sustainability and Grants Manager, who's moving on to another job and leaving the employment of our city. Emily's been a great partner in getting our climate action plan process off the ground and getting our community steering committee together. And so we wish Emily well in her next role. And we are, of course, continuing with the process. And if you have a community event where it would be great to hear more about our climate action plan, our steering committee members have handouts and will travel and are able this summer to help go to other events. They've already been doing that. And as we try to really maximize community outreach, we're going to be having some language-based focus groups, so keep an eye out for that. Obviously, you're listening to me in English, but if you know folks who would be interested in that, please feel free to reach out. I want to say also thank you for a really wonderful Malden Porch Fest 2023. A lot of folks helped sponsor, folks were out all across the city. Thank you to everybody who volunteered, everybody who hosted. The city council sponsored frozen treats with the schools, Golden Tornadoes food truck, and I think that was very popular. It was very popular also with the basketball tournament that happened to be happening at the same school where the truck was. So we gave them a real warm Malden welcome. So just a great event, a lot of participation. And to all my colleagues hosting July 4th events, if you haven't asked me for money yet already, so that I can support your good work, I will just transfer some money into your account.
Thank you. So I just want to briefly join my colleagues in inviting the community to the Ward 3 4th of July celebration. We're going to be sticking with our usual tradition of doing it on the 4th itself. So that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Amridge Park. Come on down. We'll have all the fun things, bouncy houses, face paint, balloon animals, etc. If anybody's looking to volunteer or otherwise get involved, you know where to find me. And we would just love to see folks there. We had a lot of new faces last year, which was amazing. Love meeting all the new young families moving in the community, but of course it's welcome and open to all ages, so hopefully we get a great turnout and would love to see you all there. Thank you.
Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, Ward 6, we will be having our annual 4th of July party on 4th of July from 9 to 1 at Trafton Park. And we will have splash pads. Hopefully the weather will be warm enough to really justify those, and bouncy houses, our pony rides, and food and games for everyone. So, we are having some organizational meeting this weekend. So if you're interested, please let me know. Particularly looking for some people to help on food service, and that would be great. And then just also this Saturday at my school committee member Joseph Gray's house, at 294 rear Lebanon Street, he's having a Caribbean Fest from, I believe it's from 1 to 3. So he kind of puts on a little bit of a festival to celebrate his family background there. So, but that'll be Saturday from 1 to 3. If anybody wants to drop in Ward 6 and have a little fun there. Thank you very much. Great.
That was a big invite, Council. You better have a lot of food. Councilor Condon. Hold on a second, Council. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Councilor Crowe stated, basically, Margaret has stated, we're pretty much on track for our 4th of July. We do it together, and we'll have the same rides, same amount of ponies. The races will be at McDonald Stadium, but the rides will be right next door at Callahan. We'll have an ice cream truck out there. And there'll be an opportunity for the residents of Ward 2 and Ward 1 to sign up if they're interested in getting a tree. We'll have 2 tables out there because Ward 2's in what we call a hot zone, so we now qualify for many more trees through this $100,000 grant we just received, and we're hoping to get quite a few people to sign up so we can get them trees. Also, anyone that drives through Ward 2 happens to notice that much of the infrastructure is being done. Well, a lot of those streets will be completed with once the lead removal, the gas lines. It's not glamorous, but that's what we got to do, and that's how we got to do it. So fortunately, I have quite a few streets that will be getting done, and the residents will have an opportunity to replace those lead lines, and also they'll have an opportunity to sign up to get a tree. And even if you don't have a hole there, we can dig a hole in front of the house away from your water line, and the trees are not big trees with big trunks that are going to cause you problems because they're very careful where they're going to plant these trees. So residents will be able to take advantage of it. On the 4th, like I said, we'll have a sign up, and we'll get you on the list to get one of those trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Condon. Councilor Seeker.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafor. I was going to wait till next week, but since everybody decided to announce their 4th of July, I might as well get mine out there too. Ward 8 will be hosting the annual 4th of July celebration on the 4th of July 2 weeks from today, Tuesday, July 4th, from 9 to 12 at Linden Park Hunting Field. We have the same lineup that we usually do, so I hope to see everybody there, and I'll discuss it further next week.
Thank you, Councilor Seeker. To adjourn, I know. All right, we have to do a roll call. Part of the
Motion to adjourn.
yeah, we got to do a roll call, though, motion to adjourn. So Councilor O'Malley's motion adjourned, seconded by Margaret Crowe. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Councilor Condon. Councilor Crowe. Yes. I've got my name. Did you? Councilor Linehan. Councilor McDonald. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Seeger. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafor.
Yes.
Council President Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned at 8:31.